Hi everyone. So recently I was exploring artificial intelligence tools for developers and I came across a very interesting use case for Amazon QCLI. This is a recently launched tool by Amazon and getting very popular. Amazon Q was already available in Amazon space for a long time, along with the UI support and as a chat companion. But recently they have launched it as a developer utility, which we can install on your local system and then you can start playing around with it. So let's explore what all the features it provides and how we can use it for our daily development activities. So I am Rajat Arora. I am a certified AWS solution architect and I am also a AWS user group leader for Delhi NCR and AWS community builder for the year 2023 and 2024. So here's the LinkedIn link. You can reach out to me if you have any queries or follow me on LinkedIn for the coming sessions. So there are a lot of tools available for developers which we can use to write our code or we can paste a code and we can ask AI tools to explain that code to us, but still it don't feel too native. It's like you need to log into chat GPT, then you can ask it to generate a code, copy and download that code, but you still need to set up your runtime environment, like you need to install Java, Python to run that code, and then once you run that code, if you run through any problems, you need to again copy that problem and reach out to chat GPT and ask for the solution. So it does not sounds or feel too native. It's very cumbersome to use those tools. They still provide some support, but yeah, it is still not that easy to those tools, and you feel distracted using these services. So for that problem, I came across a very good utility launched by Amazon specifically for Amazon Cloud environment that you can use to create, manage, and manage your infrastructure, manage your code on the AWS Cloud platform. It's not just that, you can also use that tool to design a code for you, like a sample Java code, sample Python code. It can help you to analyze the code and even fix any problems that you detect. So let's get started with it. So recently I have launched a tutorial on Medium blog. You can refer this tutorial. In this tutorial, I have explained how you can set up this Amazon Q CLI on Windows machine and get started with it. So the major challenge that I found while learning this utility is to set up on Windows system because it is a Linux based tool. So it works very well and very fine on the other systems like Mac and Linux OS, but it is not that straightforward to set up on the Windows system. So I tried to simplify the steps. I have gone through multiple documentations which are provided by Amazon and Microsoft itself, but again, they were very lengthy and difficult to follow. So I have list down all the requests here that you can follow, all the steps here that you can follow and set up the documentation for yourself. So the prerequisite for this is to install WSL on your system first. So in case you don't have it pre-installed, you can go to the official Microsoft documentation which is provided here, and then you can follow the steps to download and set up the WSL. And then after that, I will follow up with you how you can set up the WSL on your Windows system. So let's launch one of your command line utility. In this case, I'm running command line as administrator privileges so that I will get a full access. And now you can run command WSL -L -V to check what are the various WSL versions available in your system. So I have installed this WSL along with Docker. So I have a Docker virtual machine here, but it is in a stop state. So let's first check the WSL version which we installed using WSL version command. So in my case, I'm using WSL version 2.4.13.0. So you can check that if you're around the same version, all the commands should work similar for you as well. So as a next step, we can check what are the various WSL virtual machines available. So you can run command WSL-L-O, which is like list online versions which are available, and it will display the list of various virtual machine distributions which are available. As I'm much comfortable with Ubuntu, so I'll start with using Ubuntu as a virtual machine for myself. So let's start first installing this. Say WSL minus install and Ubuntu. You need to remember the case. You need to give the exact case because it detects like a small case and uppercase separately. In my case, I want to install Ubuntu, then running it. So it can take some time depending upon the network speed and your uh, device speed, like laptop or workstation, whatever you're using. It can take up to from 2 to 5 minutes or 7 minutes in your environment. So by the time it is getting installed, let's follow what we have in the blog. So I have written down all the steps so that you can just copy and paste and it should work exactly on your system. So by the time it is getting downloaded, I have also given a link to the official documentation for Amazon where it talks about how you can set up a command AWSQCLI utility on various platforms. So it's pretty straightforward for Mac and Linux environment, but specifically for Windows, I found it like it's not that straightforward, like downloading and installable and running the exe that will set up your environment. So that's why I'm preparing this guide. So I have given a link to the Amazon official guide as well, so that in course of time, in case they made any updates in the documentation, you can find that documentation, the latest documentation on this link. Okay, so now you can see it's getting downloaded and we are there almost 70%. So also talk about like this utility. I found it very interesting because it creates a code for your Node application, some Python API that you want to create. It also creates code where you can link to your AWS account and use libraries like Boto library in Python to make your code to interact with AWS services and AWS ecosystem. So I found it very useful, especially for AWS environment and even for the other things as well. Okay, so it has downloaded. Now it is trying to install it. And after installation, it will ask you to create a default user, root user, and set up the password so that you can perform the operations after this is running up and running. Okay, we can see it is there. Now we can again run command WSL minus V to check what are the various versions we have available uh, in our environment. So we can see like it has installed Ubuntu. So now we need to start Ubuntu machine and then log into Ubuntu. So how you can do that? You can do WSL minus S to start the distribution. Let's run this command and it has started. So let's verify. Here you can see like it is starting the Ubuntu version, and then you can connect to the distribution. It takes some time generally to start the distribution on local system. So you can then connect to your distribution, the name WSL minus D and the distribution name. So as it is starting for the first time, it takes some time depending upon the system capacity, the CPU and the RAM that you have. Then once started, it will ask you to set up a default username. So I'm using Rajat as a default username and I am setting the password for it. Okay, great. So I have successfully set up username password and you can see like I am logged into the default root directory is mntc Windows System 32